Welcome guys. So we are doing this is part of a multi-series video of web development. So we are doing a address book website development, and this is I think third video on the series. So we are developing certain programs to develop this website. So today at we are going to show how this, when you click on view, how this records are generated. So it calls the database, it gets the rows, and it builds the HTML. So the way it happens, the way this magic happens is that, so the controller, when you invoke this one view, the controller comes, it loads the model, gets the records, and it passes the record set to the view, the list view. So when you do list view, it invokes list view.php. So if you see list view.php, so list view.php has some style sheet information. So here I am using, as you see, the blueprint CSS, and I've got some JavaScripting where I'm using address list. So any jQuery, this is a jQuery actually. So I'm including the jQuery here, and as you see, I'm directly accessing to the website jQuery. I mean, ideally speaking, you should download the jQuery latest and access it locally. So local meaning it should have a I Aspire Academy address. So I've got the jQuery which starts with JDoc, always the document ready function, and then I've got a function which is basically hover function, which allows me to put the gray button. See, as you see, as I'm going through it, it does the it basically does the gray bar on the highlighted row, or on the row which is on the mouse. And the way it is done is that using the hover function. Again, go through the jQuery tutorial, or check up the website how the hover function works. But basically the way it works is that you invoke the function and you add class to gray, and add class gray mean all it does is that it basically does the background color of A. This CSS is in the screen.css, I think, or I think it's in the style.css. And then when the mouse goes out, then it removes the class of gray. So if you see the definition of this hover function, you have to give two calls. One is the first one is basically when the mouse is there, and the second one is when mouse comes out. So the rest of the code is pretty much straightforward. Here again I am doing an echo anchor to build the URL, to build the link, which is this one, and the rest all are, it's pretty straightforward. I'm going through a loop, so PHP for each. So basically I've got my query object here, or the data object. I've got the query object, and then I'm doing a for each with I'm going through the results, and I'm displaying, echoing each of them. Now there is, instead of doing that, you can also just do a something like this. This is called short tagging, short, SHORT, short tagging. And then again here I'm building some links. So okay, so now if you invoke the Firebug, you will see how blueprint is invoked. Here you see body screen.css, and you see here style.css, and I have the style.css. Now if you open style.css, let's go here, and then you will see there is a gray, I think, let's see. So it looks like we don't have a gray class as such. So I think what is happening is that when you do add class gray, it adds the color background to the row. So anyway, we were talking about how this gray color happens. So if you've seen the code, it adds a class gray. And where is that class located? If you see the screen.css, so here we have a this is screen.css, and here we have a gray colors, gray style. So add class meaning this dot is getting, this dot is can be invoked using class. Um, so again, this is if you're new to CSS, you probably have a little difficulty in understanding, but I think these are fairly simple CSS techniques. So we are coming back to this. So that's all about this file. It's pretty it's a little bit complicated than the first one, but I think once you write it, it's pretty straightforward. So here I have blueprint CSS. I have little jQuery which I do the hover, and I've got standard PHP code using C code igniter, which loops through the to the data set and this. Now one thing I would like to mention is that if you see the the way the view works, there is a little bit of model, there is controller, and then there is presentation layer. So within presentation, I'm doing all HTML related stuff. Controller is passing me a structured data. It's basically a data structure which is an associative array, which is this one. It has no HTML. Controller has no HTML. Address model also doesn't have any HTML. It doesn't have also any even controller logic. It doesn't have any like getting get or post variables. It's pretty much has all SQL, and the address book has the controller has all the logic to get the stuff from the form, or get the stuff on the link, and then calling the model and getting the data and passing it. So the controller's main job is to really act as a glue, and that's what it is doing. And my view layer, which has all the HTML stuff. So that's about the view page. So let's go back to that. So since we have a little bit more time, so let's talk about one more feature, which is add new, or maybe view update, let's say delete. So when you delete, see it gets refreshed with the, so when you click delete, it deletes it and the page gets refreshed, and when you refresh, this row gets gone. So let's look at it, what's going on here. So when you click delete, if you see the URL, it has a URL at the bottom of it. It says address delete 108. What that means is that when in the code igniter, when you do address delete, so it means it comes to this address controller, and then it tries to find the delete function, and then it passes the ID. So the way it works is that address would make it, the first part of the URL is okay, let's delete it. So first part of the address address delete 109, let's say this URL, right? Let's look at it, address delete 109. So that means it will come to address, it will call delete, and it will pass the ID 109. And what this will do is it will delete it from, so by this function delete from address, so then it will delete it, it will pass this. So I'm doing a bind variable, it will pass this. So this call, it will first SQL, and then it will pass this ID, and it will delete it, and then it will do a redirect to the view page. So when the view page comes, view page, when it goes to the view, so it will come address view. That means it will again come to this add controller, and it will call this again, and this will again do a database call to get all the rows, and it will not have the deleted row. So that's what is happening. So I'm deleting first, and I'm redirecting. Now the same thing could have achieved by doing this dot view. So in that way, I am basically invoking this view function. So let's try it out. Let's see if it works. As you see, it worked. So, but it, depending on your situation, you might want to redirect. So almost 10 minutes is over, so we'll take some more features in our next video. Thank you.